another episode of Hang Time with Raechel. Today I'm hanging out with Ruth Winder. She's a professional cyclist. She's a road national champion, an Olympian, and an amazing baker. So Ruth, thank you so much for joining me today and for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So given the current state of the world and the coronavirus, all that's going on, I'm sure that your schedule has just been completely different from what it typically is as a professional cyclist. So what has your day-to-day life been like right now?
Right now I'm starting to get a little bit back into serious training, but for the last maybe I don't know, for at least a month, I kind of told my coach, like, with no racing on the calendar, I couldn't just keep going out and doing intervals all the time. It was like hurting my brain because I need some super motivation to be like putting myself through these. They're not enjoyable. Like, I don't like to do intervals. Benefit of my health and happiness. I do intervals because I want to do well in the bike races. So without the bike races, I'm like, why am I doing this? Which was actually, it was kind of nice just to ride how I feel and just not have a training program. But now they've got this calendar that the races are supposed to start on August 1st. So that's about just under 2 months away from now. So I'm kind of back on a serious training schedule again. But yeah, no, it still feels like there's a little bit of uncertainty whether it'll actually happen. It feels like a hopeful more than a definite.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, August 1st, that is coming up, but it's still I feel like it's still kind of up in the air whether things are going to go through or not, especially with traveling internationally. It's crazy. So then what is, since you're kind of ramping up your training now, what does that typically look like? What's a training day for Ruth?
Yeah, summarize training day, breakfast, almost immediately. I'm always so hungry whenever I wake up. And then I try and do some pre-ride exercises, some little hip stretches and maybe a little bit of core. It takes me probably 15-20 minutes to go through a little routine. And then I'll go out and head out training, and depending on if it's a long base day or an interval day, I'll either already have sweaty hands getting nervous for my intervals that I have to do, or just enjoying the nice adventure ride that I'm about to go on. And then I'll come home and just recovery and try not to stand on my feet all day baking, but I have a hard time restricting myself in the kitchen. Sometimes I put a chair in the kitchen so I can sit and do roll out hide up.
That's funny. So with the baking thing that you just mentioned, you started doing, I guess, Winder baked, as you would call it with your hashtag, but you started baking goods from what I've seen, and then I think you said you got to 30 people that you were baking stuff for, and then you would deliver it on your bike. So kind of tell me how that got started.
Yeah, I was just baking a lot at home, and when you bake a lot, you either you have a freezer I used to call it just my freezer bakery, because anything that I baked and I had left over and wouldn't keep fresh in this amount of time that I could eat it, then I would put it in the freezer. But then I was like, oh, I'll just give it to some friends. And then I posted one picture of a babka that I made on Instagram, and then everyone was like, that looks so good, I wish I could have some. And I thought, well, I'm not really doing much right now, so I thought I'll just make a load of babkas and then deliver them around town. And then it got really popular, and then I just started doing I did this monthly May subscription, and 30 people were I took baked goods to 30 different people's homes every week for the month of May. Yeah. This month I kind of scale it down. I only have just 15 friends that I'm taking it to, because I was okay, if I'm back to full-time training, then it's a little bit hard to, because it would take me about 4 hours maybe to ride my bike to everybody's house.
Wow.
It was if I was still training, and then the time it was taking to bake things and everything, I was just running out of time in my day.
Yeah. That's a commitment. That's pretty legit. That's a legit business you started there. So what was the crowd favorite of whatever that you baked for them?
I think so. I've made some pretzels that people really like. That sourdough pretzels. They're my favorite. Nice. So delicious, and those are pretty popular. And then I've made these which I'm making this week, these blueberry ricotta hand pies. So those are really good. So I'm making those again.
Nice. Yeah. It sounds delicious. The pictures look delicious too. I'm sad that I did not jump on board before everyone else did. That's really cool.
Yeah, maybe one day I can expand my bandwidth again, but I'm keeping it small for now.
Yeah, very cool. So something else that I saw that you did recently was something, I didn't know what this was, so I looked it up. It was called Everesting.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, terrible idea.
So walk me through what that is exactly, and then how the experience went for you specifically.
Okay. So basically what Everesting is this challenge that someone created to say climb the amount of feet on my bicycle that equals Everesting. So it's around 30,000 feet or something like that. And I chose to do it on Flagstaff Canyon here, so super flag. So I was riding my bike up and down Flagstaff Canyon. I had to do it 14.6 times. So I had to go up flag 14 times. And then one more time just the base of the wall. So yeah, like 14.6 times. And it was, the way I like to describe it, is like a really fun 5-hour bike ride, but then it was followed by like a really, really miserable 7.5-hour bike ride. And like, I understand that some people have a good time with these like really long epic things, but I just got 5 hours in and realized that I still had 7.5 hours left to go. And it just went downhill for hours. And I was like, why am I doing this? This is miserable. Like, I'm not getting any joy at all. But, I honestly felt a lot of social pressure to continue going, and I felt like if I bailed, then I would be letting a lot of people down. And so I finished it, which people are like, would you advise that? And I'm like, no, you don't need to do that. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I was like, I would have been fine going for like a really fun 6-hour bike ride and then being home and be like, that's a sweet epic day out, but then like continuing. Like, okay.
I mean, that's a major feat. I mean, double thumbs up for that one, because that's a lot of climbing. Holy cow. Incredible.
I really love them. And I was like, it can't be that bad. And then I did it. I'm like, nope, it was that bad. It was as bad as running 12 hours, it sounds like.
Oh, geez. That's awesome. That's a pretty good time, too. It's like around 12 hours. Yeah, dang. Legit. Right on, Ruth. I like it.
I think moving and everything, moving time was 13 hours. And I think you have to count moving time when you do these.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, cool. Still awesome. So let's backtrack a little bit, and why don't you kind of tell me how you decided to get into cycling? And I know you've done track cycling and road cycling as kind of like the two main ones, but how did you get into it?
I've been racing my road bike since I was like 15 or something. So I think my parents always had bikes when I was growing up, and my dad was an avid cyclist, and so was my mom. She kind of found it a little bit later in life, but my dad has always loved cycling. And then my mom had gotten a new bike, and then I was just riding her old bike basically. And nationals, I grew up in Northern California, and nationals, when I first started to kind of like ride as a junior when I was 15, were in Bend, Oregon. So we could drive from our house up there. My dad took me, and I ended up winning the race, and I think from that point on, I just like kept racing. I don't know. I think I had success really young, and I thought that was a really cool feeling. And I think too, you get noticed by the national team when you're younger, and they would take me to more development camps. And basically, as soon as I went to nationals in Bend, I think I got noticed. And then I'm 27 in July, so I've been racing for a while now.
That's awesome. So cool. So when did you make the transition into being a professional cyclist?
I think it happened super gradually. So I was on the road for a while, and I did a little bit of mountain biking, and then I went full track before the Rio Olympics. And then just before then, I would say like I signed for a road team that I got paid a salary for. And that was in 2014. So I think a lot of people like to say, like, I think I was on high level teams, but when I first got paid was in 2014.
Yeah. So you've been able to travel the world riding your bike, racing, competing. What has been your favorite place to race?
I went to Luxembourg one time, and I thought Luxembourg was pretty cool. Where else have I been that I really like? I really like Norway, but mostly because I really like fish and like, I don't know, bread. And I in Norway, and I really enjoy it, but it's really pretty countryside. So yeah, maybe Norway if I had to pick just one.
Right on. I haven't been there. I'll put that on my list, and I'll put bread. Bread in Norway. So then, of all of the races that you've done, what has been kind of your best race memory or experience that you've had?
I would say I have a lot of good memories. And some of them include people that I think I'll be friends with for the rest of my life, which is really fun. And some,
Nice.
like, it's kind of like you go and have a successful business meeting. I guess, like, some colleagues you really get along with and will be friends with for life. And some, it's not that you don't get along, but you might not speak again once your
Right.
project is a finished, kind of a thing. So I think that really makes it special. And that's why my race in 2013, when I was on the US national team, we were doing a stage race in Italy, and Mara Abbott, who actually is from Boulder as well, she won the entire, like, the stage race, and I was on her team for that. And I think because I was so young and because the people that I was with were just really influential, I think, to me on who I am, who, like, helped me become the athlete that I am today. And I'm also still friends with some of those people that I
Yeah.
think, like, I mean, winning definitely helped the memory be,
Yeah.
like, a highlight. But,
For sure.
like, that was just my first real experience because I was younger on, like, a real team kind of feel, and then to be able
Yeah.
to work together so well and produce the win at the end of the day was just, like, really, really cool. So winning nationals was super awesome, and going to the Olympics has been super awesome, but I would have to say, like, winning that race in 2013 in Italy with Mara Abbott was really special.
That's awesome. Amazing. Amazing to have that group of people that you can, share that with, for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what would you say drives you to continue to push yourself after all these years in cycling to keep going?
Oh, question. I think I've just set a standard for myself. I don't know. Like, I think I was actually talking to a friend about that yesterday, and I'm like, I feel like I have a standard that I've set for myself, and it's just, like, constantly trying to be the best that you can be, maybe. And it's like you don't
Hmm.
really know what that standard is, this thing that you're always trying to reach, to me, almost.
Right.
It's like I try to feel like I'm kind of always be the best that I can be and just focus on that. I have to say, like, the traveling with racing is getting, like, really hard, especially.
Hmm.
I mean, I have a dog here and a boyfriend here, and when I travel, I'm on the road maybe 6 months out of the year, which
Wow.
is quite.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Um, but I think just, like, because I make it my life in so many ways, that I don't want to leave for 6 months of the year and not have given it my best. So if I'm
Right.
going to choose to, like, travel and make this commitment and miss home and be lonely so much of the time, then I want to make sure, like, in all of the other days, that I'm, like, pushing myself to make it worth leaving, if
Right
that
on.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think you'll continue to excel with that kind of mentality and attitude. I like it. So then what advice would you have for, let's say, somebody who was new into cycling and wanted to get involved with track racing or road racing? What advice would you give that person?
Find a good community. Like, if you're brand new, there's so many good communities with cycling, and you want to find a good club with people that you can learn from. I think that there's, like I said, so many people ride bikes, well, especially where we are in Colorado. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
popular sport, and where I grew up in California, it's just a really, really popular sport. So I think just trying to find a good club and learning from people. And then if you start racing, then just don't rush through the racing scenes. Lots of people, I feel like a real pressure to be like, I want to be better, and they constantly
Yeah.
upgrade, maybe, like, a little bit too fast. So if you start as Cat 5, then maybe
Hmm.
learn how to win a couple of different ways before you, like, maybe just get a couple of top 5s, and then you move to a Cat 4 and a Cat 3, like, instead of just moving up as soon as you have the bare minimum of points, like, maybe just staying in that lower category a little bit longer, because then you can learn how to win different ways, before you're then just gone put on the river in the next category and you don't
Yeah.
learn as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So let's get into some of your favorite things. So let's start with, if you have one. Do you have like a pre-race meal or pre-race food that you like to have on race day?
Yes. It's easy for me to get oatmeal when I'm gone, so I typically just try and stick with oatmeal. If I was home, I'd have, like, before a big training ride, I'd have, like, waffles or something. But when I'm gone on the road, I have oatmeal, and I either get whatever kind of eggs I can get at the hotel that we're at, so scrambled, hard boiled, whatever egg, and I, like, put it in my oatmeal, and I pour syrup on it and salt on it. So I have
Oh,
this, like,
wow.
very, like, eggy oatmeal. Some people look at me very weirdly, but I don't know. I really love eggs in my oatmeal.
I have not tried that. I'll have to try that. Why not? It seems
Like, if
interesting.
you can't decide between, like, do you want sweet, do you want savory? And I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
let's put it all in and it turns out delicious.
Nice. That's cool. What about post-race? Is there any like post-race favorite meal that you like to have?
Not particularly. I feel like post-race I always whatever have my recovery drink, but that's not what you mean. I think you mean like as a
Like a
treat.
yeah.
Yeah. Lasagna. I'll just say my favorite food. I love lasagna. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I don't like have a restrictive diet or anything. So whenever I feel like having a hamburger, then I go and have a hamburger. If we want to go have pizza, then we go and have pizza. So I never like get to the end of the race and like today I want this. When I Everested, I had like the most Indian food that I could fit in my mouth, and that was delicious.
Yeah. Nice.
I would say more of like a dessert person. I'll be like, okay, now I want to go and have cake, and I'll like go and get cake.
Yeah.
Like those big pieces of cake from Whole Foods. It's like the chocolate cake and the chocolate mousse, and then the cheesecake all somehow in like one cake. That I'll go get that.
That's solid. It's delicious. Okay, so continuing with some favorites. What about, do you have like a favorite pump up song that you'll play and it'll just get you like amped up?
What's it called? Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf. You know that one?
Oh yeah, yeah. Nice.
It's a terrible song, but I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Yes, I don't know why. It's 10 minutes long and it's just great. I'll just belt to that.
So what about, besides cycling, what would be your favorite activity to do?
I'd probably go for a hike with my dog. Maximum hour and a half, 2 hour hike. I'm not like we've gauged this already from Everesting, not a hiker, like a one lapis Anitas type hiker.
Yeah, that's great.
With my dog for sure.
So what about like recovery? Do you have any favorite like ways to recover after like a hard training session or after a race?
It's honestly one of my like weaker points is my recovery. But I will definitely make sure I get a recovery drink or I eat yogurt, just like some sort of protein immediately when I come home. And then to force myself to sit down, I like have those Normatec or like the space boot things.
Yeah.
Like I set it for whatever 15 minutes or something because it's the only thing that I can't move, so I'm like restricted to just staying still for an hour. Oh, it's so nice.
Got it.
Yeah.
So we talked about some of your bike training, some recovery stuff. What about in the gym? Do you do any kind of like strength training as part of your overall training plan?
Yeah, typically like two or 3 days a week I'll do some gym stuff, but I don't do any super heavy lifting. Like I don't hardly ever do any heavy lifting. It's more like dynamic movement type stuff that I focus on in the gym. I don't do very many traditional squats or stuff like that. Sometimes deadlifts, like I would do deadlifts quite frequently, but even then just low reps and not super heavy. Just the kind of cyclist I am. I'm not looking to like gain a lot of muscle, just
for sure.
Balance. Yeah.
So then assuming things, start up again, possibly at the beginning of August, what's the next race on the schedule? What are we looking forward to here?
So it would be the 1st of August is a race. Strade Bianche should have happened in the spring and it didn't. So it's in Italy. It's in northern Italy, and that would be cool if it happens. But I'm just not sure if it will right now.
Yeah.
And then, after that, they've kind of like added all the races that should have been in the spring in Europe. They've kind of just put them in September and October basically. So then after that, it's like boom, 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 and it's almost every weekend and every other day because they're trying to like put all the races in the calendar. So right now the calendar is a little bit overwhelming if you really look at it, but I mean, all my favorite races are still there, so we'll see. Yeah.
So we'll see with a lot. But if other people want to find you online, website, social media, where can they find you? Instagram
is definitely best. I do have Twitter, but I don't really ever use it. So just follow me on Instagram at Ruth Winder with the number 8 on the end. So Ruth Winder 8.
Do you have a website or anything?
No, just the team website, which is I'm sponsored by Trek-Segafredo. So Trek-Segafredo Racing. Yeah.
So that's where they can find you and see the info on your team too. Very cool. Sweet. Yeah. So before we close it off, I would like to leave people with one last piece of advice from you. So it can be life related, cycling related, anything. Just one last piece of Ruth Winder advice.
Someone told me once to always listen to every piece of advice that is ever given to you, but you don't have to follow it.
There you go. That's solid. Very cool. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was fun talking cycling and all the cool stuff that you're doing. I look forward to seeing you out there on the bike again. Hopefully the competition season starts up again soon. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
So what I like to do here at the end is we'll have a flex off, signing off, flex off. Go, flex off, Ruth, flex off. Yeah, nice. That's great. Sign off, flex off.